Hello everyone, Storm 101 here. Today we'll be talking about two systems that will be developing along an Arctic front that could be quite an impactful system across parts of the Central Southern Plains, eventually getting up to parts of the Midwest, eventually getting up to parts of the Great Lakes region as well. Could bring all types of precipitation modes. Snow, sleet, freezing rain, and also generally rain as well. We'll be talking about a couple factors with these two systems as well, and what other models are considering with this system here as well. Before we get started with this video, if you guys like weather-related content, you can always subscribe to my channel. We do this stuff all the time on this channel here as well. Plus, we'll be having more updates on this over the next couple of days. Now, we're going to get started with the GFS model. Of course, we got our bomb cyclone going on in the northeastern U.S. Reed Timber up there is estimated winds up to 100 miles an hour at times up there. So that's a nasty blizzard that's going on in the parts of eastern Massachusetts, parts of Connecticut, and Rhode Island, and eventually that's going to get up into parts of Maine. And I've already heard some impressive snowfall totals. I think the highest I've heard was 18 inches, and I believe that was in Rhode Island. And in eastern Massachusetts, there's 2 to 3 feet snow drifts up there as well. So, and that's going to continue through the rest of today. So the conditions are certainly pretty rough up there as we are speaking in this video as well. Now, since it will be moving off to the northeast, it's going to be mainly quiet over the next couple of days as well until a system rolls through, kind of going on the United States and Canadian border. This is the system that's going to bring your Arctic front. It could bring some snow showers in the parts of Montana, North Dakota, and the parts of Minnesota. And then this is where things get interesting. So our low's going to be moving off to the northeast. We actually got a little bit of submergence going on out here in the parts of the eastern U.S. So, and you also do notice here, there is going to be, the Gulf of Mexico is actually wide open for moisture. And not only are you getting moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, but you're also getting moisture from the Eastern Pacific as well. So there's going to be plenty of moisture to work with this system here, no doubt about it. So our first storm system will be developing, and this is going to be a weaker low. It probably develops somewhere right in here. Could be enough to bring us some icing issues and also snow on the backside of this system. Now we'll continue to move along the Arctic front off to the northeast. But it's the secondary low that is we really need to watch for. You got a 995 millibar low in the parts of north central Mexico, and that's going to eventually get up into Texas. And this is getting into the overnight hours on Wednesday. And you can see at this point here, by the GFS, a lot of issues going on in the southern plains. You got ice, snow, quite a bit of rain as well. And then your system really starts to get ramped up. 1005 millibar low. It's not a very strong low, but either way, it really doesn't matter how strong the low is going to be. It's going to bring a lot of precip with the system here. But stronger the low, the further northwest track is going to be. That's going to be the big uncertainty with this system here, is that where is it going to track? Exactly. Could it take a little bit more of a northern track, or could it go along where some models are suggesting, or it could go a little bit more of a southern track? That's what the uncertainty we have with this system. And you can tell on the backside of this low, there is some heavy snow on the backside there. But at the same time, you got quite a bit of freezing rain going on. And then again, that's a lot of ice. Meanwhile, you got some strong storms going on in parts of the south as well as that low starts to move off to the northeast. We'll have to see if a third low tries to develop. I'm not very confident on that as well. But if a third low does develop, it's likely going to be further southeast than the second low. So we'll have to wait and see if a third low does try to develop. That could be a big system as well if one were to try to and develop as well. So yeah, GFS showing a big system there. It's going to be happening for a long duration here for some people in the Midwest. Could begin as early as in the morning hours on Wednesday. Continues throughout the rest of the day, Wednesday, goes through all day Friday. I'm at Thursday, and eventually should end by early Friday morning. So some people are going to see snow for a long period of time with these two different lows here, but at the same time, someone has a chance to see quite a bit of ice as well. And that really depends on the track of these lows as well. Because if the secondary low goes a very similar track like the first low did, somebody's going to see quite a bit of ice. And that's something that's going to be a little bit concerning, is that there could be an ice storm threat with this as well. And I'm saying could be, we're still far out. But I do see that potential with this setup as well, that somebody might see an ice storm, and I'm saying maybe. But there's also a chance for a winter storm with this as well. Let's check out the Canadian model. It's going to be pretty similar over the next couple of days, and your first low does look to be a tad bit stronger than the GFS. It's got some heavier snow bands going on in the cold sector of the system, but it does take a little bit more of a separate track. Does have still has quite a bit of snow on the backside of the system, and that even goes all the way up into parts of the northeast. But at the same time, there's quite a bit of freezing rain going on with this as well. That's something I'm most concerned about the system here is that ice storm potential this setup does have, where some areas could experience freezing rain for a long period of time, and you can get some higher ice totals out there as well. And that's my biggest concern with the system here. It's not really the snow, it's actually the ice this potential this setup here has. So that's just something we need to keep an eye on very closely. And here's the European model. It's actually pretty similar with the Canadian model, but it's not as amped with the system here. That's the thing here. Uh, if you're gonna have a stronger system like the GFS, for example, it's gonna go a little bit more of a northern track. If it trends weaker with the secondary low, the cold air is gonna keep it more suppressed, and the low will be kind of getting defeated by the cold air, so it's gonna make it go a little bit further south. Or it could be a little bit in between. We'll have to see where trends have to go. I think that's what it really depends on is how strong this low is going to be. But there's also a couple other factors out there as well, which we'll check that out here in a little bit. Let's check out the GFS ensembles, and you can see here all of them show a big system out there with Ridgely Precip, but there's still a decent amount of uncertainty with the track. You got some that's further south, you got some that's further north. And that's the uncertainty. Then again, what we have with this system here as well. And a couple models try to get a third low developing, like I was saying earlier. We'll have to wait and see what the other models will say. Right now, a third low developing seems unlikely at this time, but it might be possible as well. We'll have to wait and see about that. But either way, it definitely looks like there's going to be a big system out there mid to late next week. And that can impact a lot of areas as well. Okay, so there are, like I said, with the low trending stronger, if it does trend stronger, it takes a little bit more of an over track. But there's also something else as well that could change up the track as well, and that's what's going on further off to the east. And that's your ridge. There's actually going to be an eastern ridge here, so that's why it's not going to go like all the way south like this, like we've been seeing. It's actually to go something like this. So it's not going to be a big nor'easter or anything because of this ridge that's going on out there. That's going to prevent to do that. And so this is the GFS. This is the one that has the more amp solution, a little bit of a stronger low. So it has a little bit more of a northwestern track. If you check out the Canadian model, it's a little bit different. It's actually a little bit weaker with that ridge. And what happens is that the cold air, it's gonna make it a little bit easier for that cold air to sink in a little bit further to the southeast. And it also makes the low track further to the southeast as well. And the European model will be pretty similar to the Canadian model. So that's going to be one of those factors out there as well with the track of this low. And you don't really notice a whole lot of anything else out there other than that the GFS does have subsystems a little bit more progressive. Like this one here, for example, it's got this piece of energy over here, a little bit more progressive as well. But that's part of its progression bias that the GFS has. And honestly, I'm kind of leaning towards a little bit more of a northern track solution, but there is something that is known as a northwest trend. And what typically happens with a northwest trend, it trends stronger with the pieces of energy, and that leads to a stronger low at the same time. So that's why I'm kind of leaning towards an orbit track, but I may change my mind. We'll have to see where the models will trend next. But it is something to watch for now. But if you do live in the parts of the Midwest, Great Lakes, even the parts of the Ohio Valley, and parts of the southern and central plains, keep an eye on this system as well. And also, we'll probably have to watch parts of the south here. Some of those folks may have a chance to see some strong to severe storms with this setup here as well. But anyways, guys, this is all for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Guys, like this video, hit that like button. If you do like my channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notifications so you never miss an upload. If you guys have questions about this, leave it in the comment section down below. I heard you guys questions. And I'll see you guys in the next video, and have a good day.